Hello everyone. In this lesson, which is part 4 of our Python Pandas data analysis data science series, we're going to carry out a global macroeconomic analysis with the data that we had cleaned up and prepared after data wrangling procedures for data analysis. So, to see the global macroeconomic status by countries, which will provide us insights into the economic status around the globe, let's proceed. So the first thing to do is new df that describe. Let's do this one, and it will give us the basic statistics of the how many country, what's the count, what is the mean, what is the standard deviation, what is the quartiles, that kind of information. Okay, let's run this. You see here, now across these 5 statistics that we have prepared, 5 columns that we have prepared by renaming, now we see count, population count 227, GNI, gross national income, count 212. That means there are 15 missing. You see the country 000, because since we converted the columns into numeric, that's why it is showing now NaN, because obviously country is not a number. Country is an object. So similarly, the third column, PPP GNI in billions, purchasing power parity GNI in billions, which for the economist makes much more sense than just the GNI numbers, okay? Because purchasing power parity is relevant to the location, to the country. So that statistics is more insightful than just the GNI. And the GDP growth rate. You see, 209 country has PPP GNI counts, 220 country have GDP growth rate count. So from this you can see the global mean population is 142.66 million. 142.66 million. And global GNI is 2054.26 billion, which is 2054.27 billion. If you want to round it to 2 decimal places, let's see if it gets round to 2. If we round this, oh, it's not available there. Okay, so to get that, let's do this. Let's do print, comma round. Let me see, I'm not sure if it will take it, but comma round to, and close the print. All right, let's see. No, it did not take it, so round does not work. Let me just remove this. We will round later on as we need it. So by this you can see the world mean population, mean income, GNI, gross national income, is 2 trillion, just over 2 trillion. Whereas if you measure that in terms of purchasing power parity, PPP, it is 3.7 trillion. So much relevant. And the world growth rate mean is 3.14%, 3.15%. So that means if any country is growing at this 3.15%, it is growing at a mean average rate of the world growth. Some countries have a high growth rate, others will have low growth rates, right? And with that mean, there is a standard deviation of 4.39. So within 3.14 plus minus, say, standard deviation is way too much spread of this. So from the center, 3.15, there will be some nations with minus growth rates, and I am just saying approximation, okay? And there will be some nations with up to 7% growth rates. So that is the spread. And yeah, you can see here minimum was minus 26. So first quartile 1.668 growth rate. The 75th percentile is 4.39. So maximum 43.73. This does not make sense, 43, because this is a combined group of nations. However, you can see how this gives us an insight into the global macroeconomic statistics of GDP, GNI, and its growth rates. Okay, so if we want, we can do one more thing. We can calculate GDP per capita. Okay, so let's do that. New DF. What will give like to give the thing? GNI per capita. Okay, because there is no GDP. So we are going to calculate that and derive this. GNI per capita column we're going to derive by doing what? New DF divide GNI, billions, divide that by new DF divided by population. Okay, once we do that, this will give us new column which will be added to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th column. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th column. Yeah, let's print new DF. Okay, let's run this and see what happens. Here you can see here GNI per capita, which you can see there are some not available, there are some this. So this is, there are some countries with $364 per capita income. There are some countries with a large number of per capita income. So you know that just shows the aggregate number, GNI per capita. So if you keeping that in mind, if we want to compare, say, particular countries, say, let's start with top 10 largest economies. Okay, so let's find out new df dot n largest. How many economies would you like to take? Let's take 15 times. So what are we going to get? GNI per capita, okay? GNI per capita. Okay? In per capita terms, 15 largest economies. Okay? So let's run this and see what we get. You see here, the 15 largest economies are here. So the errors you were seeing, not errors, just like 00 and NAN on country column, was because we did not run all cells. So once we run all the cells, that gets corrected and our analysis can get ahead. So for example, let's run it all here. See, now we're running it all. And now here we have 215 rows. So we dropped the combined nations. Combined word like this: Europeans, North Americans, Caribbeans, and all that kind of combinations. We removed all of them. And now we have the pure country names. There will be some, small subjugates like France. France is country, small countries, names like Montenegro or some, French, Bermuda or Benin or Belize, those little countries, and Macau and Hong Kong as a separate country. But if you ignore all of those things, which you know are not real sovereign countries, you will see all the analysis pertinent to the global macroeconomic data. Now, say, for example, in terms of per capita income, which are the top 15 countries? Here you can see print new df dot n largest 15 GNI per capita. In terms of that, you can see here the country list. Bermuda, okay? Bermuda with a population of 646,000. Obviously, when you have a small population, per capita income is going to be large. So at the moment, that 646,000 to be divided in 9 billion GNP is going to give you $140,268 per person, Bermuda. And second in the list, you can easily see, I'm going to show you all the list. Second in the list is Norway with a per capita income of $98,276. And the third place is Switzerland with a per capita income of 96,262. And fourth is Luxembourg with a per capita income of 88,557. And the fifth spot is United States, even though it has a GNI, gross national income, of 28 trillion. Because of its population of 340 million, it has a per capita income of 83,661. So similarly, you can go down the list. Australia is list 15, with a GNI of 1,701.53 to be divided by 27 million population. So it has a per capita income of $62,545. So you can see we can carry out these kind of analysis with this data and with the help of pandas only. Here we have just pandas. We haven't used any others. For plotting, we will use matplotlib, seaborn libraries, as well as others. But for now, just that. Now, equally important thing would be to know the lowest, poorest countries. Okay. So for that, same thing, new df dot n smallest. N smallest. Let's write similarly 15 nations. And G and P per capita. Okay, let me make sure that we're not writing incorrect. Print. Let's print that. And let's close the print statement. Okay, let's save it and let's get this list. Okay, I want to make sure you see it. So when I run all, now here, you can see the smallest nation with smallest, poorest countries per capita terms are these. Let me scrollable element open this. Now you will see this 15 nations. So here, the poorest from the bottom, the poorest country is Burundi with a per capita income of $193. And second one is Afghanistan with a per capita income of $364. And then Madagascar comes into the third with $514. And say Somalia, 174. Somalia with a per capita income of $603. And Gambia, the 72, with a per capita income of $893. So these are the 15 poorest nations on earth in terms of per capita income. So you see, I mean, these are hardly earth-shattering discoveries. Nonetheless, it suggests to you that this data analysis, these are the type of data analysis many data scientists, data analysts carry out. And these analyses can be applicable to a company which generates revenue into billions. You can obtain by categories, the revenue by categories. You can sort by top selling items, top selling services or goods. And you can obtain the poorest selling services and goods, which can be helpful in formulating policies for the company. So should they drop those poorly selling goods and services, or should they improve, change, modify so that they become top seller as well? So all these kind of policy implications are there. Similarly, on a national basis, you can see the policy implications with these data. So now let's check the a regional background. So for that, I'm taking South Asia. South Asia equals, so here I will check South Asia equals new DF. Okay, and within that new DF, and we're going to get the new DF country labels, new DF data columns. Okay, new DF country, new DF country. All right, country is in, that is in, okay, we are filtering. So in the list of these countries, say for example, Bangladesh, Bhutan, make sure the capitalization is correct, Bhutan, otherwise we will not get it. Say, what comes after that? Bangladesh, Bhutan, say India, and after that comes Maldives. After that comes Nepal. After that comes Pakistan. After that comes Sri Lanka. So in the list of these nations, okay, in the list of these nations, and, okay, let's go down because, and list of these nations and new DF, new DF of what we want to see, per capita income, right? Per capita GNI per capita, right? GNI per capita, GNI per capita. So say, so if we want to see that, and we need to put a filter. So with your knowledge of per capita income, you know none of these nations have $4,000 per capita. So if you put that, you should be able to get the ranking of these nations. Okay, let me just make sure I'm getting this. All right, so that is the filter we put. Let's now print South Asia. Print South Asia. So you see here. So if we save this and run all, make sure these are all run. Then you can see there is no error. Now you can see here. Look, now clearly you can see Bangladesh has a per capita income of $2,824, and Bhutan has a per capita income of $3,712. Obviously, Bhutan economy is 2.93 billion, but divided by 791,000 population. So that's why per capita came more. And the third, India, had an economy of 3.83 trillion, 3.84 trillion nearly, but per capita income is $2,646, which is lower than Bhutan and Bangladesh because its population is big. Its population is 1,450,000,000 people. 1,450 million people. 1,451 million people. So this shows you in terms of the economy, even though in absolute terms, India comes about fifth largest economy in the world, but to make even the per capita income of, say, 15th largest economy, India has to grow 20-fold, at least 15, 20-fold to catch there. So India is therefore one of the poorest countries in the world. If there is no point in some Indians gloating that we are the fifth largest economy, so we're doing great. No, you're not doing great, because your population is so large that to have a decent living, you need a very large economy, much larger, even 10 times of the current economy will not even achieve the half of the per capita income level of the United States or Canada or any European countries. So it has a profound economic implications, policy implications. The policy implications are that the government has to ensure that economic policies are geared toward the people, not a few oligarchs, few rich people, few business houses, because doing that does not improve any. Same situation in the United States. There are 1,000 billionaires, but 40% of the population live below poverty. So same situation is in India. So implications, profound implications for policymakers to make it people-centered economic policy. These analysis by using Python Pandas give you the tool to see things objectively and implement policies that are people-centered, implement policies that raise the living standards of the people. So this is how we will carry out economic analysis using these pandas. And this is very important aspect for data analysis and data scientists in terms of contributing to the objectively to the economic upliftment of a nation of this. So it is a challenging job as well as very rewarding. So I just showed you a sample what can be done with this approach. So I'll have this full code, complete code into my GitHub repository, and you can get full of that. For now, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And now all you need is immerse yourself, completely carry out these type of tasks to master your data analysis tasks. Okay, these are practical, unlike some theoretical. You will follow this. I hope you will practice this and keep learning, keep practicing, and become a professional data scientist, data analysis. Okay, in the next, remember this type of analysis is not only macroeconomics data analysis, it can be applicable in the company level data analysis. Okay, microeconomic data, household level data analysis. All this is really, really applicable data analysis system. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for more data analysis where I will present these numbers in a picture, in pictorial depiction of this data analysis in the next lessons. Thank you for now. Bye.